And yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. Welcome to the 2022 For Your Reference Christmas special.
Woohoo!
With It's a Wonderful OT Life. How are you feeling, OT?
Good. I feel so relieved winding down the year, man.
Yeah? Are you surprised at some of the stuff that you forgot we covered?
Yeah, I was like, oh, was this year? Sometimes I feel like it's crossing over.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased.
You're working on your Christopher Nolan screenplay?
I am, as a matter of fact.
It's very exciting, friends and lovers. We're not going to spoil anything. Like OT said, we will be reflecting on the year that we've had. We're going to be rating everything because we believe discussions are more important than ratings. So we like to leave it at the booty end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
If you're feeling nasty, let's ride it and snap it off, friends and lovers. Wow. And we're going to kick it off with the end of the culture, OT.
End of the culture.
May the culture prosper, but it will never be the same after the end of Insecure.
Whew.
Wow. Goodbye to Jay Ellis.
You know, like, sometimes I was looking at this list and looking at the amount of things we've covered this year and the things we've watched. I think Insecure will hold such a significant place for me.
Yeah.
That I could not even comprehend giving it anything less than a 10.
Yes.
It was fantastic. They wrapped it up so beautifully. You know, things that I thought would happen. One of the better things that I hoped would happen did happen. And wow, like Issa Rae is fucking amazing.
Do they speak vindication in Insecure?
They should.
They do. They absolutely do. And we are starting this year off strong, friends and lovers. I also rate Insecure Season 5 a 10.
Nice.
10s across the board, friends and lovers. I was actually going to ask you, OT, because, you know, you have your years where you're very generous or you're very scrutinous with your ratings. Is this an indication of the year ratings to come?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, man.
Okay.
Let's see how it goes.
All right. I was having a great year, if I can spoil so lovely. So let's get into January, the very first episode, Succession.
Oh, I was a bit trepidatious with this rating.
Okay.
But just because I felt that this was one of the, I don't know, there was something in between that sort of made me not give it a whole 10. I give it a 9.
Not even for Sanaa Lathan, you weren't given more than a 9?
If she spoke more than 50 words, I would have been, nudged it into a 9.5. But yeah, it's a solid 9.
Well, I don't have any qualms and I'm splooshing commission free. It is a 10, friends and lovers.
Oh, wow.
Just the dynamics, and there were some delicious moments in Shiv's direction. I just really, really enjoyed this season of Succession.
I love the vulnerability between the siblings.
Oh,
it's something that we've not seen.
Rethink your rating then.
Yeah, like it's all coming back, but I'm still going to stick with my 9.
The most unfeeling children from the richest daddy in the world. Anyway, I had a great time. It is a 10.
Nice.
Oh, I also forgot to mention, friends and lovers, shout outs to our patrons that joined in on our ratings. And a lot of them were very lovely and joined the wave of love. And someone in particular used their points very strategically.
Ooh.
So we'll see that to come. The next film, otherwise films that we covered, was the Matrix trilogy plus Resurrections. So we're going to do these separately because, by God, you are not going to like turn down my average with the middle parts. So revisiting the OG non-gendered film, bro, Matrix.
One of the most best piece of cinema out there.
Yeah. And try to be replicated. Try to duplicate it.
Yeah. I could not give it anything other than a 10.
Hey! Okay. Well, now that we've got the elephant out of the room, reload it.
This is where things start getting a bit tricky. I'll give it a 7.
Whoa, why?
Oh, you went lower.
Did you get a fully sploosh Wachowski cut? I gave it a 6.
Ooh. I don't know. Like, I think part of it is nostalgia. I remember watching Reloaded and I remember people hating on it, but I loved it.
But you watched it recently as well.
I did, but I still have to remember part of my sort of growing up and just thinking, oh man, this is fucking cool.
Okay.
So it's still at a 7 for me. Otherwise, it would have been lower. If I hadn't watched it earlier, it would have been lower.
Okay. Interesting. There's nothing to ground out of that, I guess, instead of the dogma that they had in the film. But let's move on to The Matrix Revolutions. Thoughts, feelings? It was the stinkiest one, was it not?
It was the stinkiest one. A really prolonged stink fest. But again, nostalgia will play a big part in this.
Okay.
And I give it a 7.
I gave it a 5.
Ooh.
You really need to not prove your master, but like there needs to be a reason why. You know, like obviously because trilogy, but yeah, it didn't work. And again, I will blame it to the studio involvement, not the beautiful love and lauded Wachowskis, because it works. And go and check out our episode. I attempt to talk about deconstruction and how films are in essence a matrix. You know, you need to buy into the world, and whether you buy into it or not, that will, I guess, you know, talk to your emotional resonance if that's your flavor and that's what you look for in a film. But I would say, you know, the negative sort of trappings in the rest of the trilogy had nothing to do with the Wachowskis, or at least the core of what they were trying to achieve from the first Matrix. And that's also why we needed to split the ratings, because like the first one is not going to be hampered by the other two.
Yeah. And I think for me, it just came down to feeling the closure that I felt it needed in seeing Agent Smith or, you know, Neo and all that. I couldn't give myself any lore, even though I hated it or I didn't love it as much. I couldn't bring myself. It's still the Matrix at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's Keanu. What's not to love about that world?
I guess so, but sometimes I want to get your genuine view. I do get it outside of the mics.
No, you get it. You know, we had Jada in this. Like, there's a lot of new characters added, and I felt
Just say black. You're talking about the new. We know what you're saying.
Well, I'm being diplomatic here. You know, so I couldn't bring myself to give it any lore.
Okay.
7.
But I don't think you even like Jada's character in it.
I didn't. But since when does that matter?
To you, yeah. To you, yeah. Oh, the conflicts that you fight in yourself. Just enjoy it or don't enjoy it, my love.
I do.
All right.
My ratings reflect what I feel.
You have an intricate matrix that you navigate through as well. Speaking of an intricate matrix, let's talk about, and just like I did with Godfather and I disregarded particular films, to me it's just the original Matrix and Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, don't you dare sigh at the Matrix Resurrections. I want to kick you out of these ratings.
I don't know. Like, unlike you, I didn't see why we needed this.
Boo!
Like,
Well, I didn't see that either, to be fair.
I love the world, and Resurrection, as flawed as it was, I still felt, okay, it's finished. Let's close it up. It's done.
If you rated this lower than either of the second and third film, we are fighting. We are scrapping, and I'm meeting you at the car park. Because there is no way. You just said you enjoyed being in the world, and now you're saying this one isn't necessary. It's smelling like Dave O.T. Chappelle in here.
Whoa. No, I'm not even going to go there. Because I still give it a 7.
Ew.
I give it a 7.
You're the stinkiest part of this franchise.
I'm standard with my train of thought. I'm not going to give it any lore because I still love the world.
You know what? It's been so long since our Christmas ratings, I forget how much we fight.
At the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, if my rating started at a 6, before the movie, before I even press play, then what it takes for them to go lower or higher, in as much as I went into this thinking that I didn't need this, or the Matrix world didn't need this new addition, I still felt that at the end of it, seeing the characters that I love, it was a point to its stead. And it was like, okay, cool.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. does. It does. It
You're
makes
just saying the
perfect
opposite
sense.
of what you said for Reloaded and
No, I had qualms with those, and rewatching them, I felt those qualms were sort of magnified, but still. And I said, nostalgia played a big part into that. With this, I felt like, cool, it's all new, and I love Matrix and all that. And I think we watched the Fast 3 over again.
you don't
before-
deserve art. Can I just say? I'll be mature about this, but you don't deserve art. You get annoyed that people don't understand Nope. Well, you don't understand this film. So how dare you? Get out of my house.
All right, tell me your rating then.
A 10.
Now you know you're playing yourself.
I don't know. I don't care for that decided silence because there were so many delicious morsels in the Matrix Resurrections, and it was a nod to the trans community who it belonged to in the first fucking place, you fucking film bro OT.
Okay. And
Get off your controller horse and let's fight. We're scrapping
a 7 is a respectable score.
to wankers. Oh, wow. I forgot what this was like.
Yeah.
Friends and lovers, you're allowed to have an opinion about TV and film unless I love you. Then we're fighting and we're scrapping. Let's move on. Doom Patrol.
Whew.
Don't think about the Doom Patrol we're watching now. Think about the
I'm trying to separate that from what it was, and I think it's one of the better comic book adaptations we've seen, and I just loved it. I really did, and I gave it a 8.5.
Okay, I gave it an 8.
Nice.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Super cool, guy. I would say The Boys is still my top.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, The Boys is in here, so let's not keep talking. I think Peacemaker might also be here as well.
Yeah, it might be.
All right, well, there we go. And we finished off January with the Indigenous Australian TV and movie series Redfern Now.
Wow. I had feelings watching this.
Yeah?
You know, I remember thinking, you know, like I have a lot of qualms when the community has, you know, it doesn't represent what I feel like it needs to.
I think you're okay, but it's on a broader scale when the lens is pointing inward.
Yeah.
That's where you have qualm.
Yeah. And if Jordan Peele has taught us anything, we need to look inward more than anything. So with this Redford Now, I gave it a 9.
Oh, boo.
What?
If you rate all
9 is bloody outstanding.
I gave it a 10.
Okay.
I gave it a 10.
There were moments where I was like feeling like I needed to throw my shoe at the TV.
But that's the point. It's evocative.
I get it. But at the end of the day, I couldn't separate myself from my emotions to see that I could give this a 10 just because of how raw it felt.
But that's
And
good.
that's
'cause
credit to them.
If you have
It's
characters
credit.
that just shake hands with each other, what kind of compelling drama is that? And don't you-
Sometimes I need kumbaya.
yeah, but then don't you also understand that within a community there can be improvement and there can be addressing of other parts of the community that aren't being addressed?
Yes, I understand that completely. But I remember, you know, I couldn't just let myself give this a 10 in as much as I loved it because of the qualms. And my qualms are what fundamentally held it back for me.
Okay, well, let's do this. Friends and lovers, we are definitely not going to be rating this series, but there is a show called The English. Exactly. With Emily Blunt and Chask Spencer. Friends and lovers, I do have a lot of time. Meet us in the DMs, but be prepared. It's either nastiness or you're going to get a lesson. And it's going to be the latter of that. But do you understand the setup of a show like that compared to Redfern Now?
I do.
You see what I'm saying? So you need to make sure that you're balanced in the way that you rate it. Otherwise, it feels like you're putting them in the same bucket.
I would definitely not even put those two in the same bloody world or universe. Like they're completely different things. So with Redford Now, I get what you're saying. You know, I understand, but I felt 9 is representative of how I felt after watching the show.
Yeah.
Rather than if you told me to do the first, I think was it the first 3 episodes, it would definitely still be sitting at a 10. It's what came afterwards.
Okay.
Once we kept on learning more about the characters that I felt or getting different stories is when I felt that, okay, I can see what they're doing and I can see what they're telling, but fundamentally the qualm was still there. And I didn't feel like at the end of it was like, you know how you'd get a teachable moment? There wasn't any that I felt that was distinctly portrayed, that I felt, okay, cool, you showed us this, but then you told us this is how it should be. Yeah, and I think that's why I just couldn't bring myself for it to be a 10. And I fully understand and accept that that's within myself rather than whatever it is that they've done, whatever they portrayed, because I fully accept that this for you and maybe different people could be a 10, but my baggage brings it down a bit.
Okay. Again, in any other world, it wouldn't be a problem, but I just want to fight you.
I know.
Speaking of fighting, we are getting to our Tarantino run to celebrate our next year of podcast, our 3 years of podcasting, rather, in the For Your Reference household. And we covered Quentin Jerome Tarantino. Oof. Cue the N-word count, friends and lovers. And we have our first patron rating. How apt.
I was suspecting the first patron rating would be for Succession.
I see. But they probably knew we were going to rate it higher.
Yeah.
All right. And this is from Paul.
Okay.
And I'm going to read it to you and then you can guess his rating. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The second best film in the world. Right after, get this, The Batman 2022.
Paul needs to get in the bin.
Paul is vengeance. We love you, Paul, but what the fuck? Let's keep going. It gave me a taste for filmmaking and a passion for film. Absolute masterpiece. Based on that description, what do you think Paul rated Reservoir Dogs?
Paul gave it a 10 because he watched it as a baby and he loved it. And he can't see past that. That's the problem.
You were just talking about nostalgia, so you can't come for Paul.
I'm not coming for him for that.
You just talked about nostalgia.
Yeah.
Just like I don't give graces to OT, OT doesn't give graces to our patrons, friends and lovers.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, Paul, I understand. I'm not going to come for him for feeling nostalgic about this and feeling like, oh man, it's the best thing he's ever seen. I give it a 7.
I give it a 7.5.
All right.
Yeah, so it would have stayed in the mid-ground, Paul, if you didn't rate this fucking film. All right, let's move on to Tarantino because we did do 6 films, 7 if you include the actual films with Kill Bill. Pulp Fiction, we have another patron rating, OT.
How many ratings did Paul get?
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You need to be ready.
Yeah.
Do they speak FYI and what? Every time KT makes that reference, I cackle.
Mm-hmm.
It's still QT's best, even with his underwhelming performance as Jimmy. Do you remember Quentin Jerome Tarantino's performance in Pulp Fiction?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
What do you think Julio rated it?
I think he gave it a 9.
He gave it a 10, OT.
10.
A 10. Let's bring it down. Let's bring down the average. What did you rate it, my love?
I give it an 8.
I gave it an 8.
Nice.
But it's also frustrating because of the sort of weird sort of dialogue with black characters, but it's still too good. Like even with Ving Rhames, mwah.
Yeah, I remember when I was rating this, I was like thinking, oh, okay, don't even think about Samuel L. Jackson when rating this. Otherwise, I think I would have just given everything a 2. So yeah, an 8 is fair.
Is it Samuel L. Jackson or is he just a product of the industry that he's in?
Just disappointing through and through, I guess. I thought he'd look past it's a job thing.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, that's
OT is spiraling into the abyss now. Let's continue. We have Jackie, run it back, Pam Grier Brown. Are you ready?
I am.
We have another patron rating.
Okay. Surprising.
Just like Pam Grier, it's very top heavy. This month is very top heavy with patron ratings. And this is from the beautiful, lovely Jamie.
Nice.
I will go for Jackie Brown as it's the Tarantino film that intrigues me more with age, and I loved your episode on it. Oh, thanks for the plug. What do you think Jamie rated it?
9.
A 10!
People are giving the 10s out here. Right?
They're throwing 10s at 10 and Tiro.
Man, if you ever go to a strip club, you'll be broke by within an hour. All right. I gave it a 9
Oh, fuck off. I gave it a 10. I'm going to delete your rating. What? Why?
because it's Tarantino. I just deducted a point.
Oh, boo.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This is where I was battling with myself.
If you give Bel Air a 10, I'm going to fight you.
I really love this movie. You know, from the soundtrack to everything he did in this. It was magnificent. But I still couldn't bring myself to give it a 10. Again, this is where the OT baggage comes in. I could not separate this with all the other qualms that I have. And that's not fair.
Do some healing, man.
I need to do healing. I need therapy. It's not fair, but it's what it is. You know, a 9. A 9 is fair enough.
You've besmirched the Pam. You're out of the Pam Grier fan club. You're not allowed there anymore. You can stay in Uma Thurman's fan club, I guess.
Once we start doing the Foxy Browns, you'll see. It'll be different.
Okay, OT exploitation. No patron ratings for Kill Bill. I didn't even split them into separate films because to me it's the same fucking thing. Thoughts, ratings?
Wow. I gave it a 6 just out of respect and out of
So you removed marks because you were angry, but you gave points for respect. That makes no sense.
now, like, I remember watching the first time, and I think watching it the second time was really, really hard. I enjoyed it the first time I watched this movie when I was younger. Watching it now, it was harder to get through, especially the second one. I didn't even know what that is. I think my 6 is mostly just for the first one alone.
I gave a 6 as well.
Everything else was just don't. Like, it would have been in the Jesus Rolls territory.
Okay. Wow. That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something more fun. Not necessarily the subject matter, but definitely the tone of it. Inglourious Bastards, OT.
Oh, wow. So, if you remember, I had issues trying to watch this for the longest time.
You tried watching it many times, and this is the first time you watched it all the way
I never
through,
got it past 5 minutes. I gave this an 8.5.
I gave it a 10.
Wow.
I had a fruitful year, OT.
Clearly.
You still have some demons you're fighting. I'm just on my Nimbus cloud, and I'm elevating to my final form.
Wow.
There's really nothing to say aside from it being beautiful and great. Christoph Waltz in that iconic scene. Just great. Great, beautiful, amazing, great. And you're not going to catch me doing Jackie Brown less than that, so they're both 10. Let's round off the Tarantino run with Django Unchained. We had very, very interesting, both of us had very interesting experiences from when we first watched it to a part of this Tarantino run. So what did you rate it?
I'd give it a 7.
See, there's your black tax. I gave it 6.5.
I just thought it wouldn't be fair if I clumped something like Kill Bill 2 with this in the same level. It's different. It's a 7.
Just enjoy what you enjoy, you know?
Yeah.
You're spending so much time cooking the books over there.
I'm not cooking the books. It's just my trail of thought and how I do my ratings.
I love this pivot change. I love this, this sort of tonal change. It kind of encapsulates the For Your Reference podcast. In March, we kicked off Demon Slayer.
Oh,
The Entertainment District, if you're nasty.
so good.
I think this is where our usual, film auteur fans, they just skip it for the week. We just have a very wide variety, friends and lovers. So what did you rate it?
I give it a 9.5.
Whoa, you got Japanese tax now.
It would have been a 10 if it wasn't for, I think the Mugen Train brought it down slightly. It wasn't as strong as I expected it to be.
Yes.
But afterwards, with the Entertainment District, it just continued being stronger and stronger, delivering so much on, like, you know what? People would say, oh, it's the base level anime. You need to watch Chainsaw Man or some shit. No. Sometimes things are popular because they're fucking good. So,
Like Tarantino?
don't even. So that's why I give it a 9.5. You?
Sorry, just to clarify, you don't have Japanese tax. You have weeaboo tax.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it an 8.
Okay.
It's cute.
I felt like you enjoyed it more, though.
I enjoyed it more in the first season, but we have to average out everything we've watched.
Don't you think Entertainment District just like lifted it differently to a different level? Like everything that they've set up to the point just came just came to a fucking really good moment where you could see everything they've planned out.
Oh,
And I could
OT's entered the chat of adjusting ratings, but he's talking about fucking anime and I'm talking about indigenous people.
I don't know.
Wow, OT, wow.
I just felt it was the moment where I felt it separated itself. And I didn't really expect it, especially after Mugen Train. I thought, okay, this is gonna be weird. I thought they had such a really cool core story, and then it went a bit sideways. And with Entertainment District, with everything that they did there, it just elevated it so much. The annoying characters weren't so annoying. They had some more backstory. We got to learn a bit more about them, what their abilities are, and I just. The vulnerability, the thinking that everyone's going to die. Like, I don't know what you're watching, but 8 just feels really low for that. Anyway.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Bruh.
I am done.
There are real issues in the world and you're fucking fighting me over a fucking anime? Are you for real?
Yes, I am.
Well, I guess this will be interesting to see what you rate this next. Deborah Mailman, Total Control.
Oh.
I'm going to preemptively say fuck you because I know you're going to give like Demon Slayer a higher rating and I'm going to fight you.
I give this show a 10.
Hey! You wanker! Give me a cheers. Send them down the river.
There you go. I give this a 10 just because we don't see this. We get a lot of political shows, but nothing really focuses on what Total Control does.
Yeah.
On the grassroots, on the people, on the indigenous community, and what the representation feels like, and how the fight is, And I think how they portrayed it was so strong that I couldn't even conceptualize giving it anything other than a 10.
Hey!
It's that strong. It's that good. Deborah Mailman is, I really wasn't familiar with the work until I came to Australia and, Katie was introducing me to all these different sort of actors. But I don't even know. I'm getting emotional just thinking about how devoid I was of thinking there was even this sort of stream, right?
Yeah.
And wow, like Total Control is right up there with the best of them. If you think fucking Aaron Sorkin is the fucking God Walker of all this shit, you've not watched Total Control, because I think it just takes a poop on West Wing and it's that strong, it's that good. That's me done.
I wish you didn't add defecation to your rating. However, I will accept it as evidence in the For Your Reference household of OT having quality. I also give Total Control a 10.
Nice.
Would you believe? And it's not just indigenous representation. It's also great fucking quality in writing and performances and production, in character fucking development.
Yeah.
Very excited.
And the authenticity, like they're just not doing it to think that, because we need everything to have a fucking good ending. There's a lot of there's a lot of authentic realities out there that you'd feel like, in as much as you wouldn't agree or you wouldn't want it to pan out that way, sadly, that's how the fucking world is.
Yeah.
And they don't shy from those moments. And I'm glad, sometimes you get shows that would try and, I wouldn't really say pander, but just for the fucking good story ending of it to make people feel happy or some shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just want to watch it as it is, regardless of how sad it is.
Yeah, because if it's not real, like, you can sniff it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of insulting to a sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Talking about more stories that need to be told. We're talking about the Panthers TV show, about the Polynesian Panther Party in Aotearoa.
Yeah, again, I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
But I think watching the movie, I got to learn a bit more about it. It was interesting. I give it an 8. Nice.
Yeah, super solid show. You know, I would strongly recommend if you have access to watch the Panthers, absolutely watch it. I also put some resources as well that you can reference as well, or have a look at, or have a listen to. The only thing, again, that doesn't put this over to like a 9 or a 10 for me is because it focused too much on a protagonist that didn't necessarily have much to offer from a story point of view.
Yeah.
If this is the first time, like even, you know, we're going to talk about the Woman King as well. Like if this is one of the first times that global audiences are going to see a story like this, then that in itself is interesting. So don't pander to a classic sort of love, will they, won't they, that sort of thing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that.
But again, feeling like the outcast at Tongan events, absolutely me. So a lot of my points went to that in particular. Speaking about a lot of points, if I may be so bold, OT, I would say this would have a high rating between the two of us. We're talking about, do you really want it? Yeah.
Oh, whatever that song goes.
Well, I wanted you to taste it, but that's okay.
Oh man, Peacemaker. It's one of those oddball shows that I didn't really expect much from it, and then it just came out of nowhere and bam, it was that good. I give it a 10. Just
Me too.
oh,
Yeah.
nice. Finally sinking your man moons. It was unexpectedly good. Just one of the highlights of 2022, if you ask me.
Because we weren't expecting it. We weren't asking for it. We didn't think much of it. And it completely consumed our weeks.
Yeah, James Gunn really had something in here. And I really didn't expect much from John Cena. And wow.
Right?
Yeah.
He's my... Okay. Let's digress for a second. Who's your favorite wrestler turned actor?
Right now, it's John Cena, just based off that.
It's gotta be, right?
Like, I get... Dwayne The Rock Johnson has been doing his thing. He's super popular. I really didn't even vibe with Black Adam that much. I think there was a point where he was in every single thing that I just chucked out.
I think
mentally.
he still is in every single thing.
Yeah, like, no. There was like a period where he has like 3 movies all pretty much similar. I was like, wait, what? You had like Rampage. There was something with a white monkey. I think that was Rampage. And then there was something different. Like, it all came out like bang, bang.
San Andreas, I think,
like,
as well.
Wait, what is going on? Like, let me just check out from this guy for a bit. I need some time. But you know what? He's really good. He's still one of the better ones. So
I would say John Cena and Batista. We like Stuba.
yeah, Stuba was fun.
And we also love Kamal Nanjiani, even though we don't care for him as Steve Banerjee in the Chippendales. And we will absolutely... There is so much to talk about. Friends and lovers, watch Welcome to the Chippendales, because we have a lot of Otis things to say.
It'll just be full Rampage at that point.
Not starring The Rock.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on. This was breaking the 4-year reference mold. It was the first time we've done like a reality show. Young, Famous, and African.
It was different. It was fun. I think when I suggested that we cover this, it was just due to the fact that we'd watched, like, our formula is movies and TVs and whatever. But Young, Famous, and African, when it came out, it was just so different to what everything day to day we've been watching. I was like, why not? Let's give it a go. And I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it. The characters were like just ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Levels of themselves maxed out. I'll give this an 8.
All right. I gave it a 9.
Whoa.
I gave it a 9.
Okay.
I've got the motherland tax, OT.
Clearly.
Well, I recall the discussion we had when we were recording the episode, and you talked about like not having to explain. Yeah, they're rich. Who cares? Yeah, they're throwing all of these parties. Who cares? It's not on them. It's not their responsibility to make sure everyone that is living in less than conditions, you know, it's not on their shoulders. And I really appreciated that sentiment.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. They shouldn't feel like they need to lift the whole continent on their backs just because they have some money.
Well, it's not their job to undo.
It's not.
Yeah. Speaking of undoing or maybe redoing, we're talking about Bel Air. I didn't necessarily put like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to rate. Feel free to rate it if you want. But yeah, what's your rating?
I'll give it a 7.
I gave it a 7.5.
Oh. Yeah, I was sort of wondering where you'd go with this because I thought you'd sort of give it higher. I just had, like, the first episode was really, really hard to get through.
Yeah.
But once we got through the hurdle of fucking hating the Fresh Prince and starting to, okay, let's
The
try.
crown is ready for you, my prince.
Yeah, the first, like, don't base it off the pilot. Just give it a go afterwards and it will be sufficiently enough for you.
It definitely, it got to the tone that it was trying to lay out. Obviously, it was a hard pivot. Do you like how I keep using your Friends reference?
Yeah.
We were on a pivot. Is that the reference?
Oh my God.
How do you anger a secret Friends fan that rates Friends over Living Single? Am I right?
You don't know that.
I think you just proved it, my love. Yeah, because I really enjoyed it. And I think we also need to acknowledge the changing of the guard because it was created by white people.
Yeah.
And it was reclaimed back. It didn't necessarily work in Candyman, Friends and Lovers, but it worked in Bel-Air.
Yeah, it did.
And we've definitely grown to love Jabari as the Will character.
It takes a while, but he gets there.
Yeah. Without a Haitian accent, like Emancipation, am I right?
Yeah, but don't get us started on Joffrey. Bloody hell.
Yeah. He's pulling up the Mandem with his friend, with his brethren.
He's a proper Mandem, man.
Speaking of the Mandem in California, we are covering the furious hotep of it all, Boys in the Hood. And we have another patron rating, OT.
Okay, come through.
This is from Sam T,
Ah, love you, Sam T.
aka Danger Islander. Enjoyed this segment. Interesting discussions of what I consider a classic in American cinema. As usual, KT and OT banter is funny throughout, but I enjoyed them talking about one of my favorite films. Shout out to Sam and Jamie shouting out our episodes about what we're rating. What do you think Sam rated it?
I think he gave it a 10.
An 8.
Oh.
I think Sam's more in my camp. It can be a favorite.
I'm bringing that love back. I'm taking it back. Come on, Sam. Come on now.
No, because you can love it, but it not be a 10.
Okay.
Just the way something can be a 10 and you'll never watch it again. But you are Mr. Rewatchability King. So what did you give Boys in the Hood? Are we going to push the average up or not?
I'm going to... With Boys in the Hood, you've got a young kid in John Singleton, you know? I think one of his first projects.
Yeah.
And for what he did to deliver Boys in the Hood,
Yeah.
that resonates up until now in fucking 2022.
Layered messaging as well. He even talks about gentrification as well. He talks about having babies and not being able to care for them as well.
What he's done with the industry, with black cinema, is something that should be applauded more than I feel like it is. And I think every household should fucking know John Singleton. I gave this movie a 10.
Hey, so did I.
It should be a staple. Should be watched every fucking year, just so that you remember. And wow. I could not, like, rewatching this now, it felt so different. Like, I was like, wait.
It was all in there.
It's all this. Even younger when I was watching this, I couldn't get, like, I get something different every other time.
Yeah.
And this movie is just one of the best things that's out there and will stand the test of time. And one of the best directors and people just to grace the fucking movie industry. And for me, couldn't be anything less than a 10.
John Singleton on your Rushmore of great directors, not just black directors?
Yeah, for sure. He's given so much. And yeah.
Oh, absolutely. 100% agree. Because you watch Snowfall, you see all of the themes in Snowfall, and it's like he was fucking doing it decades ago.
Yep.
Right?
He was saying it.
And, like whether it's a film that you're so used to watching all the time, or whether you think it's just a black film and it's only going to have surface level themes in it, It absolutely encapsulates everything that is the best part of cinema, as well as being able to capture a true experience. Wow. Let's move on. I don't know if he'll have the same sort of accolades, but we love Harold Perrineau, and we're very excited to watch The Best Man final chapters.
Oh, cannot wait. I think it's coming out next week. I think
Really?
it's 22 December or some shit. It's definitely in December.
It better be soon because he wasn't in the promo for Best Man. So hopefully that means he's busy doing From. What did you rate this? This is obviously as well in the vein of Lost. The producers of Lost created this show as well. What did you think about this show? What did you rate this show? We're both very excited for it, but does that translate into your rating?
I think you will. I give it an 8.
I give it a 9.
Wow. Like, it's wild. While watching it and you finished it, I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, I kept on thinking, oh, where's From coming back? Where's From coming back?
Yeah.
I need my daily fix of From. Like,
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, yes, I understand these people banned us with fucking Lost, and it's livid. And immediately I started watching From, I knew, yeah, Lost, come on. The people who made Lost made this.
It was all a dream.
But wow. It's really good.
Yeah.
It really is. And Harold Perrineau, man, he's been doing it for decades now.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful, lovely, delicious man. And I would like to see him again. But you're right, because we watched the show to watch the show, but it had a lasting effect in our household.
Yeah.
We kept wondering when we were going to get it
it's
back.
weird. It's not like it doesn't jump at you like, ooh, the best show ever.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's the best man ever.
Like... yeah, man.
I don't even get a kiss.
Nah.
You just touching me.
Nah, I'm giving you the more ghost treatment.
Oh, my. We've got power in here, too. Again, another opportunity for us to fight. We are talking about the Apple TV series, which was also adapted from the book Min Jin Lee, Pachinko. Can I also outlay, because you may also change your rating in my description, that this film also talks about it's not just white people that colonize. We talk about Japanese colonizing Korea.
Yeah. Oh.
And it also has very fulfilling character development and humanistic themes that we can all relate to. Now go.
You don't need to sell this that hard. Pachinko was different. The cinematography was something that stood out. I could not see myself giving this anything less than a 10.
Hey!
It was that good. The production value is off the roof.
Yeah.
The acting, the characters, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll feel with it. Like it's definitely one of the standouts for 2022.
Hey!
It was that good that even though like you'd get, well, the episodes are like an hour long, right?
Yeah.
And you'd go through the journey, you'd go through decades back and forth. Something that I loathe, by the way, in other things.
Yeah,
done
Morty.
improperly. Like the things that, like things like what was it? Flash Forward, I think. That shit just, I could not get past it.
Or it's like Enemy. Like if you put it in a linear storyline, that shows it's not interesting. That's why you have to cut back and forth.
Yeah. Like when it's used improperly, it's just the worst thing ever. But they
Oh, and trying of the rice and being able to tell that the rice was from Korea, not Japan.
Man.
Oh,
Feelings was zoo in this show.
yeah.
Feelings was zoo. It's definitely just one of the best things you've watched.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And friends and lovers, I will be starting For Your Bookends, where we have a book club and we can discuss the book Pachinko. Moving on, this is another show that we kept watching. I don't think it had the lasting power of From, but we were watching it at the same time. And this is Shining Vale with Courtney Cox, but more in particular, more I'm interested in, My Sunshine, Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, Greg Kinnear just lifts this show up.
I love him so much.
Yeah, he makes this show watchable. I give it a 7. I felt that it's good. And I think it used to be our Sunday night sort of show, which I think it's the sort of fits the sort of atmosphere that in my at least
Is
in my
Courtney Cox
headspace.
dragging your rating down?
No,
Not her, but her character.
I think the storyline just went a bit weird towards the end.
You're creeped out by the kid, right?
Isn't everyone? It's a good show. It's a good show. You should definitely watch it. I just felt that I couldn't get to an 8. I don't know why.
I gave it an 8.5.
Oh shit.
I think you take shows for granted because we've been watching some stinkers lately. So you got to celebrate the ones that you enjoy and you actually look forward to week.
True.
Even if it's not perfect. But anyway, I gave it an 8.5. Oh, this is very sad. So Minx has been cancelled, or at least won't be continuing with HBO Max. Hopefully, because they've almost already filmed the whole next season, they'll be able to find a new home for season 2 and also season 3. But irregardless of that, let's just focus on Minx season 1 and the lacking of intersectionality of feminism. What did you rate Minx?
I give it an 8.5.
Ooh, I gave it an 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's sad that it's been cancelled. Hopefully they do get a new home for it. It's a show that would definitely like it. It just tells the story of what feminism looks like, especially within the white sort of.
Yes, OT. So you have done some work.
Yeah, like you can see it. You can see it. You know, how feminism only applies to X people.
Yeah.
And most of those X people are white people.
You're pointing and crying in the corner while the whole world is fucking burning.
Yeah, and then she then doesn't understand why the black co-worker is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why am I not riding with you? Because you're not speaking for me.
Yeah.
Or anything I stand for.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm looking forward to what season 2 is. Hopefully it does get her home, because I think there's so much more to tell, and hopefully so much more character development that she needs to go through. Mm-hmm. And it's something that hopefully will also relate to other, feminists out there to see maybe this is something that I need to look into myself. It's something that needs to be told, for sure.
Friends and lovers, who knew that by Yuletide, OT would be the one explaining intersectional feminism to you?
Because I've done the work.
Well, I think you're undoing it, but it's okay. Would you, in the space of our festive cheer, would you consider yourself a feminist?
Not really.
Say female?
A female.
The court rests, Your Honor. But that's because of the connotation of the word feminist, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the future is female, right?
Of course, 100%.
Friends and lovers, we haven't covered it, but you should watch Mr. In Between. It's an Australian drama and it's fucking great.
Yeah, weird that we've not covered it yet. Something we to rectify in 2023.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of rectifying, speaking of being a reckoning to my brown community, we did another change of format in the For Your Reference household, and it was called Open Source Hip Hop, the Black and Brown Dialogue.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a point in time that maybe I don't even want to think about or revisit.
I enjoyed it though.
I didn't. I just felt...
Discussing it. Did you enjoy discussing it, I mean?
Yes. Discussing it, yes, because it brought about different, talking points. And I think those talking points are more derived towards what we see as a couple, and rather more than, this show gave us talking points to, go
Yeah.
With the show itself, I give it a 5 just because what the fuck.
Yeah.
And Jesus again, what the fuck? You need to just be better. You need to like there's so much shit in the world that people are taking from.
Yeah.
That when you see a group of people,
just say black culture. You know you're saying black culture. People take off it.
When you see a group of people strongly inclined to believe that they founded something or it doesn't belong to anyone, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, why would it hurt you to even acknowledge that you did? You can't talk about your favorite hip hop artists and then mention all fucking Americans and then come back to us and be like, I didn't take anything from them. This was my thing. Yeah. I did it by myself. I'm like, bro.
But even if you admitted that it wasn't originated from your roots, it doesn't make it any less more meaningful to you.
It doesn't make your music better. It doesn't make you sound more educated. It doesn't make you sound
it's embarrassing.
authentic. It's just sad. And that was one of the things I was like, you know what? I'd expect this from other people, but come on now. Come on.
Yeah,
Be better. Do better.
I absolutely agree. And I gave it a 4.
I don't even know where that 5 came from, but yeah. I didn't even want to think about it anymore.
Okay, well, let's move on, my love. Let's go to somewhere happy. We're celebrating Pride Month, bitches. Fire Island.
Oh,
We're talking Joakim Booster. We're talking Bowen Yang. We're talking Matt Rogers. We're talking Margaret Cho. We're talking about Pride and Prejudice. But not Colin Firth's Mr. Darcy.
I think by the fact of how you're talking, I feel like you'll hate me for this. I give this an 8.
I'm just going to pretend that you gave it an 8 because of the Mr. Darcy they casted.
Oh, wow. Tell me your rating, because I'm actually not curious, because I forgot how much he hated Darcy.
A 10!
Who would have thought?
Oh, I love this so much. I love this so much. And, you know, we even talked about Boys in the Hood, how it talked about so many important themes. It wasn't just a film with quotable quotes and memorable scenes and that sort of thing. Fire Island was absolutely that as well. It talked about the hierarchy in the queer community.
Yep, it did.
Yeah.
Something that we don't get to see a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's not really talked about that much, but it's there.
Yeah.
Chappelle mentions it, but I think we're not meant to say his name in this household.
You're more than welcome to go and see him. Just make sure the locks will be changed when you get home.
Yeah, I just felt, in as much as I enjoyed it, I just couldn't see how it was a higher rating than an 8. I think anything that's, I don't know, would you watch this again?
I would absolutely watch this again. I love this film so much.
All the Kristen Stewart, Happiest Holiday?
Happiest Season.
Happiest Season.
And Friends and Lovers, I think of the 4 Christmas films that we've covered, 2 of them are queer-led. Happiest Season as well as Single All the Way.
It is, wow.
Yeah, with Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah.
The gays just get it. They just get in and they do it.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. I just felt that I couldn't see myself giving it any higher just because.
What if Jennifer Coolidge was in it spreading the ashes and crying in the ocean?
10.
Well, let's move on. This was interesting. Friends and Lovers, we cover a lot, obviously, on the podcast over the year. And sometimes we need to have a tonal change. Sometimes we need to have a film where we're not necessarily doing a lot of analysis and we're just sitting there and we're enjoying it. However, I would say that there are some tangible themes in this. And this is Romeo Must Die. It was also my first Jet Li film. And I got very distracted with him and a cigarette in his mouth.
I think your first Jet Li and Foster Lear film, right?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Rest of love and peace and power, Aaliyah.
I'll give it an 8.
Okay.
It was enjoyable. Maybe an earlier version of myself watching it as a kid, I would have given it higher. But yeah, it was cool just seeing Jet Li do his stuff again. It was wild that
he's very charismatic.
it is. Like, it's wild growing up thinking, oh my God, I lived through fucking Jet Li movies week in, week out. You know, and just, I don't know. I need to get back into martial art movies. There's a void to be filled.
We need to go through Seagal films first, don't we?
Oh, dear Lord. Yes. But wow, it was good seeing Aaliyah again. I think just super R&B artist. But wow. And what rating did you give it?
8.5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I'm still blushing thinking about Jet Li, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't have a type, T, as you can tell.
Clearly, no. Anthony Anderson didn't do anything.
Yeah. I don't know. He had some weird, I wouldn't necessarily call it racial, but he had some weird lines of dialogue. But like 80% of it was to do with like Chinese takeaway food. I don't know.
It was like, you could tell it's jokes for back in the day.
But you know what, OT? That's how they win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Black and Asian people just hurling into, that's weird. Yeah. It was just weird. I don't know. I guess it was for the executives in the office. I have no idea. Born on the floor.
Born on the floor indeed.
Let's move on. This was an interesting little foray. It was our first Thai film.
It was.
Yes. So I've put both of them together. You can split the rating if you like.
I'd love to split the rating because if I did it conjoined like we have it now, it would be a 9. But if I was to give Game of Death solely a rating, it would be 10 with 13 scenes and 9.
Okay.
So Game of Death, we started off with 13 scenes, which was really, really good. Well, which was good, but we felt like it had some moments of weakness, or at least geared towards an American audience. And I was wondering what the original film was like. So when we watched 13 Game of Death, we were like, oh my God, this is where it's at.
Yeah.
You know, I can eat shit without having touching the veggies. I'm like, bro, come
The
on now.
garnish. Yeah.
You don't
just
touch-
wanted it, just straight through.
How can you?
Yeah.
Teach the kids better.
Scat play.
But 13 Games of Death was wild. Like, it's just one of those shocking movies. I'm like, who thought of this shit?
And what I really enjoy about it was the premise. And you found this film because you Googled films like Cube, because we felt like watching films like Cube. I would rate the Thai film 9. So the same. And the American remake, it was really good considering we didn't know it was based off of another film. But again, it did fall prey to a lot of the Americanisms, which we didn't know were Americanisms because we thought it was just an original film. I give that a 7.5.
All right.
Yeah, it's not hurting anybody.
No, it's not.
Speaking of fully fledged action not hurting anybody, we're talking about our first Harrison Ford film, OT.
With my Air Force Ones. Yeah, wow. I give this movie a 7.
Okay.
I didn't.
I give it a 7 too, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think I remembered it more fondly. I think rewatching it was like, oh, okay, maybe it was for the time.
Uh-huh.
And that's what's sad, because I think a lot of movies that I loved growing up, when I'm watching them now, they don't stand up to what I held them as.
Yeah.
Because back then I thought, in my mind, Air Force One was one of the best things that I'd ever seen back then, and just rewatching it now and thinking, oh man, the 7.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It was serviceable.
I gave it a 7 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else to say. But I would actually something I would say very quickly. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah. The Postmaster General was super, super important in this.
I didn't care for that 12-year-old though.
Well, I guess you don't like lip gloss, and some of the things we need to rectify.
I felt the full Kenyan OT force in that episode. But I just I didn't care for that. And, friends and lovers, the mark of a privileged life, and we're not talking even about race, but the mark of a privileged life is when people talk about making a difference and they talk about leaving the Western country. There are fucking youth struggling in your fucking city. Go and look them up, you dickheads. Stop trying to take a picture of locals in different continents. Fuck it. I fucking hate it. I hate it. And that's why slum tourism exists, OT.
Yeah.
I guess when we get our Elon Musk lack of morality, we might start our own, right? Mm-hmm. Look at a crying OT. Hey, they're doing it in the Pacific, so they can have a crying KT as well. Mm-hmm. We're getting back into our TV bag, OT, and we're talking about Umbrella Academy Season 3. And I need to highlight that this TV show is a landmark in queer representation, specifically trans representation. Now, go.
I was so disappointed with Season 2.
Uh-huh.
To the point where I was thinking, do we need to continue watching Umbrella Academy? It was that bad to me. Mm-hmm. But Season 3 came and hit different. They just elevated the storyline. They tried something different. They just replicate Season 1 with a different storyline,
They kind of reset the story. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. This is where we're going. Cool, I'm here for it. And I gave it 8.
Oh, what was the point of all that build up?
I think the last Season 2, I gave it like a 5 or some shit. So 8 is where it's at.
I gave it a 9.5.
Oh shit, you really liked it.
For Elliot Page alone, I gave it a 9.5.
Oh, yeah.
I'm adding to my book list as well. Page Boy is the name of the
Page
book
Boy,
by Elliot Page, and I'm very excited, friends and lovers. Let's get into the next film. We have another patron rating OT.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think you'll guess who rated this film.
Oh, no.
It was Ben.
Ben watched Soul Food, eh?
Yeah, and I think it's one of the longest descriptions we have this year. Are you ready?
Of course.
Because I'll tell you something. As much as a film can be a comfort blanket for many, I much prefer it when it explores new points of view, different perspectives, or actively challenges my worldview. I'm fortunate enough to have grown up my entire life in South London with a vibrant multicultural community around me. Maybe that's why this film sang to me so much. Show me Black communities, Black family life without the need for them to be palatable connections of a white family. The characters were flawed, they were beautiful, they were human. It's natural to expect representation to always be positive. The most positive representation is one that shows us as we really are. Damaged, difficult, wounded, vulnerable, loving, and always learning. Thanks to films like this and podcasts like yours, I continue to learn. Love this film, and while acknowledging its flaws, exploding money from beneath the floor, anyone? This doesn't get spoken about as much as it should. The best thing I've seen from George Tillman Jr. Wow, what a write-up, OT.
Wow. So what did Ben rate it?
Yes.
Did he give it an 8?
He gave it an 8.
Okay. I understand that. I think for myself as well, I think growing up and watching the Soul Food, it showed something that, like, I think there was a boom, especially back then when I was watching a lot of sort of Black movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Soul Food was definitely sitting towards the top of that. And rewatching it now, I couldn't help myself. I tried seeing how I could give it higher ratings, but I gave it an 8 as well.
Ooh, okay. I'm feeling a reverent sort of tone. Who knew Ben will be the cooling balm of the ratings thus far? I gave it a 7.5.
Okay, I see that. I guess you didn't like the touchy pasta.
No, I didn't. I hope to evade all touchy pastas if you're welcome. But there was also a lot of burden and, dare I say, trauma being passed down to the kid in that film.
Yeah, poor kid.
Not to say it doesn't happen, and it is important to be able to highlight that, but there was such a open willingness to just dump all of the emotional shit on the kid.
True. That was a bit too much laid on him and not addressed.
Yep.
I think that was where I was like, oh, come on now.
Well, let's move on. Again, another tonal change. We have another patron rating OT.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about The Boys, absolutely. And this is from Jamie. And Jamie says, I've been trying to watch more TV, and my favorite show/episode of these was on The Boys.
Oh,
What do you,
Jamie?
Yeah, what do you think Jamie rated it?
I think he gave it a 9.
He did give it a 9.
Oh,
A respectable 9.
a respectable 9 indeed. I gave The Boys a 9.5.
I gave The Boys a 10, you fuckers. We're getting diabolical up in this bitch.
Yeah, I just wanted more.
Is it Butcher?
Yeah, I wanted more growth from Butcher.
Yeah.
I felt like he did grow, but not as much as I expected, especially after season 2. I wanted him. He still kept on trying to push people away, and I get that you can't just grow that linearly, and there's always one sort of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and all that shit.
I was more annoyed with Kamiko, and for lack of better phrase, they castrated Mother's Milk.
Yeah, and that's why I couldn't even give it a 10.
Yeah.
Mother's Milk with his whole fucking chest.
Well, I want to enjoy what I enjoy. So even though I can point out the flaws, I still gave it a 10.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
Let's move on to the shirtless, waiting at the door for you with a belt, Daddy Hawk, the Black Phone.
In as much as I love a grabber more than anyone out here, I give it a 7.
I gave it an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess you had a little different grabber experience than I did.
Actually, sorry, I gave it an 8.5. It's that extra grabbing that will get you, friends and lovers.
I guess Ethan Hawke in a sitting naked in a chair would do anything for that.
He wasn't naked, but I would like to request that cut. Or uncut, if you're nasty.
All right.